Do you cry? The inside out there. Oh, I pray on it. Artificial tears. Do you really when you cry? When you cry? Do you cry?
1-2 with your boy Abdul-Salaam, aka Brother Jabril. The party is Exposure, and that's Saturday, January 25th. It's the first 2025 in edition. Wait, did I say that right? It is the first edition of the 2025 season. That's a lot to say. But leading the pack will be my man DJ Nimbus, featuring DJ Jason Hilbert, a Houston legend, and my special guest today, DJ Wyldflower from Austin, Texas, by way of Detroit. What up, Doe? My friend,
What up,
DJ
Doe?
Wyldflower.
What up, Doe? Am I coming through clear right now?
Yeah, you're coming through clear. A little bit of background noise, but you're coming through clear. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Sierra, but I go by Wyldflower. I am, as you said, from Detroit. It's where I was born, and but I really haven't been there in a long time. I live in Austin now, and I was in Atlanta before that, in Florida before that. And yeah, I love music in general. I've loved it since I was young. It really just got me through a lot, so much. I used to I was glued to my Walkman when I was young. I always had, my Walkman and my headphones on. I got a tattoo of it on my arm. But yeah, it just was with me all the time. But I didn't plan on becoming a DJ. It just kind of happened. As far as house music, when I was living in Atlanta, there were two events that I got invited to. One was the Jazz Festival in Atlanta, which is a beautiful free event that they do every year. And someone played during an intermission, Black Coffee's Superman. And
Nice.
I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop moving. It was beautiful. I was like, what is this? And I saved the song, and then fast forward, I think the next summer, someone invited me to House in the Park at Grant Park in Atlanta. And this was like way back when they used to have it under the gazebos. And it was such a time. Like
What year was that?
didn't even know. This was, I want to say 2015 or 16. I want
Okay,
to
so
say.
I wasn't there yet. I was there in tail end of 2016. But okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
It could have been that year. It could have been. But back then, yes, it was such a time. Under those gazebos, I think they do it on the tennis courts now. It's not the same, but
It's not, but
man,
it's still great.
it is. It is. The energy was just amazing. And I can't say that I knew what house music was. I'm sure I'd heard it. I'm from Detroit, so I'm sure it was there. I know it was a part of my life, but I didn't know that that's what it was called until House in the Park. And just the energy of everybody, just sweating and just listening to one amazing track after another. The DJs were incredible. And it was just like a synergy of movement. One person would dance and everybody else would follow. And I was just sold. I was taken at that point. And I didn't plan to become a DJ just yet, but I fell in love with house music then. And yeah, I actually was working in the film industry for some years in Atlanta. And it was stressing me out, but me and a coworker would always talk about music and how we wanted to learn how to DJ. And I was like, I finally got my controller. What you doing? And I think he got his, but we both just let it sit for a while. And then COVID just gave me an opportunity to try it and really learn. So
Well,
yeah.
you're on a crash course for big things. I mean, 4 years in, and you're doing this. I think there's a lot in store for you. So, do you DJ any other styles other than house music?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I really just love music in general. So any chance I get to play and tinker around with other styles, I take it. I love world club music. I love bounce, New Orleans bounce, and Jersey club, and Miami bass, Atlanta bass. I love all that kind of stuff. And ghetto tech from Detroit. I love that stuff. So when I get a chance to play with my guy Jim out here with No More Mr. Nice Guy, I'll get into those bags. I pick up music wherever I am. I'm always listening. So when I travel, I always come back home with a solid Shazam list, and
Yeah.
so I love I love Brazilian funk, but I also love like Brazilian boogie and some old Brazilian music. I love Afro-Cuban music and Japanese music, all kind of stuff, jazz, reggae. And so when I get a chance to play at like a coffee shop or something like that, I'll get into those kinds of bags. And I would love to get on a radio station or something so I can just really dig into my catalogs. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff I like to play. I just love music.
So I like all the DJs that I meet with to answer this question by continuing the sentence, I DJ, because it's just a way for us to, from our audience, to kind of see what it is that kind of motivates you, what puts you behind those decks, and what do you feel that you want to convey. So finish the sentence, I DJ because. How would you finish that?
Hmm. Uh, I DJ because there's just nothing like being able to share music, the music that you love with other people, and those moments that it like resonates and people feel it and they give you that feedback. It's kind of a high. It's really a high, and it feels good. I feel lucky to be in this position. And I'm grateful that my tastes are good enough that people, they mess with it and they respond and people hire me to play, I just feel lucky and blessed to be in a position to be able to share music. And it's just music, it does something to you, it's that connection that we create around it, the spaces that we're able to create through it, it's important. And I actually, when I started learning how to DJ, I wasn't going to go out and like play and make it a career because we live in a world where there's just so much going to shit, and it's tough. It's a lot of loss, a lot of grief out here. A lot of things are changing, and a lot of devastation. And I wanted to do something purposeful and meaningful about that. And I felt like DJing was like, a self-serving thing to do. I didn't see the purpose in it. But fast forward to where I am now, I absolutely see it. Like we need spaces like this. We need art in general, and definitely music, because it provides us the space to like process and to release and sort of return to our bodies. It reminds us of what matters, what's important, and gives us a break. Sometimes you need a break from all the heaviness. And so I get that feedback from people through the events that I do and the spaces that I've created, that's what it does for them. And that to me, like almost brings me to tears, makes me feel like I'm doing something that matters. So yeah, that's why I do it.
Who do you think supported you the most through your musical journey? Like, what it could be a person, a place, a group of people. Who has supported you the most through your journey?
Um, I would say, I would have to say, I don't know that there's just one person. I would have to say, in general, other DJs. The first time I played, it was a friend of mine at the time who had already started DJing and had a connection with a space and just invited me to come along. And I'm not sure that I would have ever stepped out on my own if it wasn't for her. So there was that. And then another friend, DJ Shawnee here in Austin, a local legend from Chicago, gave me my first break because I met her one night. I told her I loved what she does and I loved house music. And she was like, well, send me a mix. And I sent it to her. She never listened, of course, and so I had to keep sending it. But she finally listened to it. It was like 2 days before her event, and she's like, "Come play with me." And she just gave me a chance. She took a risk and gave me a chance to play, and I killed it. And that was like a big moment for me. And then along the way, just other DJs that I've gained some respect for and vice versa who give me advice. And I can call if I have questions about how things in this world work or how the equipment works or whatever, how they organize their music. So just other DJs in general have really helped to carry me. I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, it's a thing about DJs is that like you it's a weird world. Like there is a lot of self-serving in the DJ world, but I think that there's also a really good community of people that they just want to help other people to have this voice and bring this music, and they're perfectly willing to help out in any way they can, and that's pretty cool. It's cool to have that kind of scene. Of course, there's always going to be people who conflict. They have the conflicting attitudes and ways of doing things, and that's fine. They're not everybody. I'm not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just
Yeah.
it's good though when you can find your tribe and you're like, okay, yeah, this is where I want to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to get, to there's a lot of ego in DJing
Definitely.
and like you're on a stage, in a sense, no matter if it's a small room or a big stage, you're on a stage and people are looking at you and it can go to your head and there's a lot that comes with being in the position of being a DJ that it tests your integrity and your character. And I've experienced it myself, so I get it. I get why some DJs don't get along with each other, or there's money too. But I don't know. I think for those of us who really are in it for the love of the art and the music, it's nice to have camaraderie. It's nice to be able to talk to other people about music and the things that we love. So, yeah.
So, what we're talking about, like 4 or 5 years of experience. What kind of?
No,
Oh,
not even. Actually, I've been DJing for 2 years.
2 years.
Uh,
Nice.
yeah, that first gig I was talking about at a little coffee shop was in 2022 December in the
Oh, okay.
winter.
So
So,
you
yeah,
started practicing around the pandemic. You weren't really playing out. Yeah, that makes sense.
no, yeah,
How
take some
long did it
time.
take you, by the way, to go from learning to beat match to DJing? How long did that take? Was it 2 years?
Uh, Yeah, I would say 3 years really from the time I first started like touching the controller. But I was so intimidated, like you're looking at all these controllers, you don't know what the hell is going on. And
Yeah.
I was so intimidated that I would play around and then I just wouldn't try. I just would leave it alone for months. So I would say 3 years
Yeah.
before I really got
Did you play
comfortable.
any music or anything beforehand? Were you never a musician in school or played guitar or anything like that?
Nope. I mean, I love to sing, so I sing all the time. My family knows like I'm the one who's gonna pop out with the song at any moment. So there's that, and I always wanted to learn. I would go to Guitar Center and like practice on the keyboard, try to teach myself, but never officially played any instruments.
What are some of your in this short period of time? I'm sure you have some great memories, some greatest hits. What hit us with the greatest hit that you experienced like as a DJ? What is a good memory? What I call a greatest hit is like a great memory as being a DJ, like rocking a crowd, or playing to a certain audience, or seeing somebody nod their head to something. What are some of those memories for you?
Let's see. I feel like I need to think about it. Can I ask you while I think for a second what you would say the difference is between hearing and listening?
Okay, the difference between hearing and listening. You know the oh no, that's a stupid and really long way to explain this. I was going to use that theory of like if a tree falls,
Ah,
there's an actual answer to that. Do you know that? That
uh,
it doesn't make a sound unless somebody can hear it.
hear it,
So
yeah.
it's not. So hearing is just like that little noise that happens in the background every once in a while. Like you hear it, you may not have a pinpoint exact what it's from, but that's listening. To me, listening is seeking detail in sound, right? It's
Mm,
seeking like what's happening in the music, right? That's to me like listening to the music is like listening to understand for comprehension. Hearing is just to understand that there's a noise. We may not know exactly what that sound is, but I hear it, right? And
yeah.
so that's my thing of like when I cue, I'm listening to the music that's playing in my ear, headphone rather, and then I'm hearing the music that's playing out loud, and then I switch because I have to find the one and listen, and then I bring
Yeah.
the music in. So that's the shorter version of what I started to go into.
Well said. I feel that. Okay, so to answer your question about memories, I think probably just those moments where you're like, it feels surreal because you realize you imagine something in your head or you wanted to create a certain kind of space and you realize you did it, you know? Or sometimes you intend to create a certain kind of space and then everyone comes and feels it with their own magic, or something else happens that just makes it 10 times better.
Yeah.
I would say probably doing my own events more so than the ones I've been hired to do. Sunday sessions for sure. How I really started getting out there was playing at the park. I love nature. I love being outside. Me and my friend just pulled up, played at the park, and I didn't have any shoes on. I had my pajamas on. I was eating a mango. It was great. And there was no one there, but no one. Like a few people at the park came up and asked what I was doing, and so that was fun. But I kept doing it, and I kept sharing it online. And 2 months later, there were 400 people in the park, black and brown people in Austin in the park, picnicking and listening to me play. It was surreal. It was really, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened, but that happened. And then throughout that summer of 2023, it just continued to go, and there were just so many magical moments. And one Sunday, the sun was setting, so you see this gorgeous sunset on the west side of Zilker Park, and then you see the skyline on the other side, and the moon was full. You could see the moon while you could see the sunset, and people are dancing and blowing bubbles, and the music is just amazing. People are hula hoop. It felt so good, and yeah, I feel like everyone brought their own magic to that event. I felt like I was high. I felt high. And then also moments when like I started doing house music parties out here. And sometimes people don't know who the DJ is. I think that's always fun. Like you go into the crowd, people don't know who you are. And but I had already built the energy up, and my friend Stefan was playing Stefano Say out here in Austin. And I just started dancing with everybody else, and that felt good too. Those moments when you feel like you created a space that you would want to be in, feel really good too. That's what I'd say.
That's really special. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, why would we DJ anything if we didn't want to dance to it? Like,
yeah,
that's my personal philosophy. There may be other people who are like more, yeah, I'm just playing cool music. It's like, to me, I want to dance all the time. I don't play anything that I would not dance to. It's just one of those things.
I agree, or wouldn't listen to. My friend Jim,
especially that.
My friend Jim out here, who also DJs, just came out with a book with all these little sayings in it, and one of them was DJing is a dance. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like a dance weaving in and out of integrity. And we talked about what he meant by that, and how sometimes you have to please the crowd. Sometimes you have to play things that aren't fully in alignment with what you love, because it's important to make them happy. But I try to find a way to do that and still get my way, still play
true.
my way.
I like that. I'm smiling so big because there's one song in particular that I always talk so much mess about, because how so many people play it. But there's two in particular. Okay, Apaga la Luz and Sacude are two that like in my circle I hear all the time, and I'm just like, I roll. But like sometimes the vibe is like people are asking me for it, not physically, but like I feel like if I played this right now, people are gonna go crazy.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be annoyed, but still it's like, yeah, no, I still love those songs, but at the same time I'm just annoyed how much they're played sometimes. So, yeah. I hope this doesn't get like super popular and like Tony Touch hears me talk shit about this, Yo, fuck Jabril. It's not about, anyway. So what do you think music has taught you about yourself? Have you gotten to that point yet? I feel like you have.
I'm not sure. When I saw the questions you sent me, I wasn't sure about this one.
Well, I'll kind of explain to you why I came up with this question, because I grew up with a learning disability, and I had this really hard time I had this really hard time of articulating myself. I overthought what I was going to say, so I'd stumble over my words a lot. It's still kind of part of my process when I talk to people, but I lived this kind of world of silence for a long time, but so I felt like music taught me how to speak to people better, because I've also been like in the past like very brash and very critical of things, and fast to judge before investigation, just because that's just the way my brain works. So now it's like helped me be a better communicator in a way, and then also I feel like it gave me a voice when I felt like I couldn't say things, I would be just too nervous to do that in front of people. So it's really given me a voice, and that's what it's taught me. And I think that if music is healing to us, I think that it should also teach us too. I think the other part of that in healing is teaching us about ourselves.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think maybe something that has shown me about myself is how sensitive and emotional I am. I think probably when I say that, people are gonna hear it and be like, "Really, you didn't know that?" But I'm kind of like a turtle or whatever, something with a hard shell on the outside. I can be that way, but music reminds me like how soft I am and how sensitive and emotional I am because it makes me emotional. It just has like such a visceral impact on your mood. So maybe it reminds me of my softness, I would say. But yeah, I had to think about that one. I'm gonna continue to sit with it.
And this next question is about technology in the DJ world. I think I'll give you my perspective as being kind of a veteran DJ. It always seems kind of weird to say out loud about myself. But technology has taken us so far as to be able to like have a computer attached to our DJ rig, and we could pretty much play a catalog of music that we would never be able to carry in vinyl, right? I don't always necessarily think that having this is much better than this only for utilitarian purposes. I think this is more rich because you have this thing that you have to do, these plates that you have to pick up, put down. There's this ritual and this repetition that you've done over and over again. But it's really special. But then the other side of me is the performer, the person who not only likes to play that cool music, but also affect it and do things with it, re-edit it on the fly. That is what I think is really special about technology. But just like the human brain, we're always looking for easier ways to access the cool stuff and be able to get faster, from the point where you had to learn how to beat match vinyl that, if it was sitting flat, fine. But if it had a little warp to it, you always had to like speed or be real careful how fast you moved your hand. All that crazy shit that you had to go through here is now eliminated by providing all that know-how into this. But it also has created some really creative stuff and allows you to express yourself, if you're that type of a performer, in such a cool way. Sure, it could be used to cheat and all that shit, but like, that's my opinion, is that I think that this is awesome and cool for that purpose, but also if you're looking to play something that is like, I don't know, I want to say handmade, but not really. I mean, but something that is like so rich and has a culture of its own. Like, I also think that's great. I think it's beautiful to have either one of those things together or at separate parties or whatever. But this allows the performer to really do his thing. So, how do you feel about technology?
If we were still in an age where you had to carry around crates and learn how to play vinyl, I'm not sure that I'd be a DJ, to be honest. I think we have a lot less DJs, and that's okay. I think the barrier of entry is it's smaller now, and that has pros and cons. But I think it's cool. I think it pushes. I feel the way about technology in the DJ world the same way I feel about technology in general. I think it can be good or bad depending on how you look at it, but I'm never against it because, if I were, we'd still be like plowing with cows and stuff, you know, like technology is good. It's good. It pushes the envelope and it allows us to do more than we could do before. And I think that's cool. But I do like to be careful with technology about, you know, how it trains our minds and makes us more dependent on the usefulness of it, to where we forget how to do things on our own. So I had to be intentional and still am about learning how to beat match without looking at the BPM. I saw a DJ cover up the numbers on his deck and he would play that way. And I hopped on his deck and it was trash. I was shit. I didn't know how to do it. And so I was like, I have to learn this. I have to learn this because what if one day I'm on something where I don't have that? And so there's certain things about DJing that I try to learn so that if I had to do it, I know I can do it. But I think the technology is amazing. It's crazy that you don't even have to use those filters anymore. You can just use Serato stems and take just do audio only or just make an instrumental of a track with the click of a button. It's incredible. It's crazy to think about, but it's cool. It means you can do a lot more with it, and that pushes the envelope for the people who are interested in pushing the envelope. I think that's cool. I'm into it.
I think the what you're talking about with the stems, that gets me super hype altogether. Like, I don't want, obviously we're going to get a bunch of like mashup DJs, you know, and people who do that kind of stuff. And it's interesting to watch and it's cool to see people do it on the fly, but then it almost seems cheap to just like, you know, sync all of that. I don't know, but who knows? I mean, you never know what technology, what kind of creativity technology is going to help. So it's always good to have that.
Yes.
So you're a younger DJ, but if you had to kind of help somebody, I'm not sure if you're doing that now, but if you did have to help somebody, what would you say is like a key piece of advice that you've learned over your couple years of DJing experience?
Yeah, so much. Honestly, I am new, so I got a lot to learn. I will admit that. But I think because I'm new, I'm also closer to the beginning. And so I would say if you're just starting out, for one, just in general, be mindful of your brand, of your image, of what makes you as an artist, as a DJ, and don't feel like you have to compromise that or that you have to become something else or compare yourself to what other people are doing so much. I think I got lost in that a little bit, but people want to see what makes you you. So if you have that, maintain it. And if you don't know it, like, you know, cultivate that for yourself. Also, organize your music early, immediately. Organize it immediately as often as possible. It's just such a train wreck to try to do it when you have a lot of music to go through. And I'm sitting in that now. It's the worst. It's the bane of DJ. If that was not a thing for
it's
me,
the worst part. I wish I could pay somebody to do it for me.
Me too. But it has to work for your mind. So be thinking about that early on and start as soon as you can. If my shit was organized, I'd be killing it right now. But it's just such a chore. So do that.
I like the way Nimbus actually has his. He is so hyper organized. He's an engineer, so he's got that engineer's mind, and so that guy got super granular with he organizes folders in a flash drive so that if he does end up having to play somewhere where he can't access his Serato files or whatever, it's all in that. It's just, he's so well organized, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see someone so organized where it's like, that's exactly where I fucking want to be. But So, how do people find out about you? How do they find you online?
I'm mostly on Instagram, because we gotta be. So there's that. It's DJ Wildflower with a Y, WYLD, no I. Um, yeah, that's the best place to find what I'm doing, what I'm up to, where I'm playing next. And then I also have a newsletter that I've started. And so if you want to sign up for that, there's a link in my bio. And if that's not working, just email me. There's also a link to email me, and I'll add you. I'll add you to the newsletter.
Tell me
So,
about the newsletter. What's this about?
I just want to create a space for people who like what I do and want to know where I'm playing. And people will ask me, let me know when you have an event or whatever. And there's no way I could go through my phone and send my events to everyone. So I think it'd be nice to have a newsletter. I could share a little bit of my personality, maybe a little bit of personal life too. Just I like that personal touch. But also just to let people know what events are going on, what I could use support with even, as well as Sunday sessions. I forgot to mention that. So Sunday Sessions ATX on Instagram is also the event that I started at the park in Austin. We play through the spring to the fall, sometimes the winter too, outside at the park. It's wellness centered as well. So we'll do like yoga practices or breath work in the beginning and play some music and picnic. And of course, we always play house music at some point. So it's a good time. Would recommend that as well. And for that, I have notifications so you can sign up through email or text, and we just send a blast out when we have an event coming up to let people know. So, yeah.
Super dope. You were, just to go back, when you were talking about building something like the Sunday sessions, from a few people or just people like wondering what the hell you're even doing to now a few hundred people. That's very successful and very commendable. I mean, it takes some DJs who have the stomach for promoting themselves. It takes some of us like a long time to get to that point. And so, kudos to you. There's this new blood, at the risk of sounding like an old fucking guy. There's this new blood that is really approaching this music and the scene with just this kind of like, okay, I'm fucking do it. Like just, making it happen from the grassroots.
Yeah.
That is really special because that's where this comes from. Like it's, I don't think that people of color are the only people that should be doing this. I'm not of that opinion, but I definitely love it when people of color decide to do something that's like maybe a bit alternative, and we're doing things to what do you call it? Keep this thing going, to keep what is being created by people of color, being created by people who have a passion for music for people of color, to just keep that going, and that's really special. So that's cool to hear. I didn't know that about you, so that's really commendable. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, first of all, I really think there was just a need for it. I think I just feel the need without knowing that's what I was doing. But I also am just really intentional about connecting with the people, and that's important. They feel that, and that makes a difference. But I also don't give a fuck. I also, if they've denied me for a permit, but I still went out there and played because I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. I'm that kind of person. And
Yeah.
I'm on a mission to bring that feeling that I had at House in the Park the first time I went to every event that I go to. I have a lot of respect for the people who have come before me. And so I I want to continue the legacy of DJing and what it means to people through what I do. So, yeah.
That's dope. That's real dope. There's also this group in Houston called Mood to Move. They do parties in Houston and in Atlanta. And it's led by this guy, Sammy Para. And I've gotten to meet that kid. He's literally like 21-year-old kid, that's doing just
Wow.
making moves, and
Wow.
his, he's got brothers that are very talented as well. That whole family is musically talented, but he just loves house music, loves techno, and he's doing something that is like alternative to the EDM world, and it's very successful. And it's really cool to see these young folks again feeling old school doing that, man. It's great. Keep it up, keep pushing, keep pushing what we do, and and what is true to you, of course, like if it sounds like not just house music is something that you're passionate about, it's other things that are based around urban music. And so shit, man, keep it going and keep it alive, because this stuff is important. It's important as people still playing jazz. It's important as people still making great hip hop. It's all of that is important stuff to keep. I mean, this is a truly American experience that comes from like the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? The ghetto of like Chicago and the ghettos of Detroit, to make something that makes everybody dance. That some of the biggest artists in the world use their music as their platform for other sounds, but we're here to keep that true feeling. I really try and stay away from like making it sound like we're some sort of elitist group, but we are still trying to keep the soul in this music, and that's arguably what house music is. It shouldn't be we label it soulful house music. No, this is house.
Yeah.
Everything else is other house, So, but
Yeah.
whatever. I don't want to get into like a deep political debate about it, but
Yeah. But I feel you. I do.
yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna get some side eyes, but that's just part of being the public eye, I guess. Having an opinion. But all right, we look forward to seeing you out there. That is Saturday, January 25th, 2025 in Houston, Texas. Bald Kitty. It is very un-Houston in a lot of ways. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, it's like a new part of Houston. Let's just say that. Where like, people of color are supporting music like this, where, for the longest time we're trying to build this community, and now it's starting to happen. And so that's what we're here to do, is keep that part of the scene alive.
I love it. I cannot wait to play with y'all. Really. Looking forward to playing in a different city. It's going to be very cool.
You're gonna have a blast, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump. Thanks for your time. Peace out.
All right.